Hello, and I believe that I am now live. I am so sorry. It's been a while since I've tried to connect Zoom through to Facebook, and apparently it doesn't like it anymore. So apologies to those of you that tried to join me on Zoom, but yeah, technical problems arise. So I'm just going to wait a few minutes to make sure that this is actually connecting. If I have a look on my phone, is it live? It is. That's great. If anyone wants to join me on this, you're more than welcome to do so. Where do I start? For anyone that hasn't watched the videos or hasn't really read the emails, I'm obviously Louisa, and this is my challenge. And I decided to run this challenge because I've gone through my own journey, I guess, this past year, and it's been quite an eye-opener. The process that I'm going to take you through over the next 2 weeks, it's going to hopefully give you clarity, direction, and accountability, and really kind of make you look at things possibly a little bit different, reevaluate your life, figure out where you can add value, where's not working, and just give you those kind of basic pieces of advice. So we're going to be focusing on identifying strategies, tactics that can help you to achieve goals for the next 3 to 6 months. Yes, you can have longer term goals and they may well work, but it's also good to have those smaller goals, because those are the stuff that you can really have a big impact on. And those smaller goals can feed into the bigger goals, so into the bigger picture stuff. And hello, I actually can't see who is watching, but I can hopefully see from my phone. So hi, Catherine. Great to have you join me. And again, really, really sorry about Zoom. I might have to test that again later. So I really, really hope you're going to get a lot out of this challenge. I know that I've had feedback already from some people that have already done the brainstorm to say that it's actually made them think and they didn't quite realise everything that was going on in their head. And that for me is the whole purpose of this, is that I'm a big believer that when you write things down and it's not a list or something that feels really structured, you're likely to think about other things. So I obviously shared with you my mind map the other day. Now, this morning on the email, as you can see, I've added some more colours, and this is the purpose of this, and this is why I don't want to give you all the tasks in one go. I want to spread them out, so it gives you the opportunity to really think about, okay, is there anything else? So when I created this mind map, I actually forgot about one of the things that I'm trying to figure out is when I do some exercise. So I've got to be honest, I hadn't really done a great deal of exercise until about last September, and I slowly started to get into it again. And once my little boy started school, I created this new habit where I would go walking, even started to jog, which is huge for me. But now that it's getting darker in the mornings, safety first and all that, I'm now rethinking, okay, when do I do my exercise? So I've added that onto here, and I've also added onto there a section for my health, because I've got numerous health issues, so that's always at the back of my mind, so much so that I forgot to add it to my original mind map. But really try and break everything down, because like I said in the initial guidance notes in the email this morning, you really shouldn't overthink this task, because if you start to overthink it, you will get lost down a rabbit hole. Whereas if you do it slowly and you break it down and you think about all the different aspects that is just consuming your mind personally and professionally, it might open your eyes to actually think, I didn't even realize I was actually thinking about that, or that was weighing on my mind. So take it slowly, create your mind map, and then revisit it. So maybe, sleep on it tonight, and then you might get some other points that pop into your head, such as like I did with exercise. And I do have a habit of talking with my hands, so apologies. But I'd love to know, for those of you that are watching it, how you have found the brainstorming exercise so far. It might sound really simple and straightforward, but honestly, it's a real eye-opener when you actually go through the process. And I can't stress enough, I am a massive fan of writing things down. So that is why personally I always highly recommend just grabbing a blank sheet of paper and just literally starting from scratch. And then just think about the conversations you have with your friends. Think about conversations that you've had with people you work with, whether you're in employment or you're running your own business. It doesn't matter. Just put it all down on there, and that's what will really help. uh Kelly, I'm watching on my phone because that's the only way that I know who's watching. So hi Ruth as well. Kelly, you're a little anxious about how much is on your mind. It's quite scary, isn't it? It's quite that. I know that when you actually put it down as to what really is going on in your mind. And yeah, exactly. Creating a mind map can be a really simplistic process, as you say, Catherine. And it doesn't need to be overly complicated. It can be really, really simple. So, for you, it could be, I know you were saying about you want to focus a little bit more on the mental health side of things. So you could have a branch that goes into the mental health option. And then, okay, what is it that you want to do? Are you thinking about promoting? Are you thinking about looking at it later? Sorry, I'm reading the messages at the same time. I'm getting distracted. Real apologies. Becky, yes, you can catch up later on the replay. That's absolutely fine. So the other thing that you could think about, Catherine, is that, think about your business, and that you could branch it out then into the type of clients that you work with. What gives you that greatest buzz? Who do you like working with? What don't you like? Is it like with me? I love to work with people who I feel I have aligned values with. That makes a massive difference for me. And it's really important because that's when I really love what I do. Other options could be about, family. Obviously, I know you a little bit better than maybe some of the people in the group. So you could go into family, you could look at, okay, what's working, what isn't working. And then obviously it's really important, and this applies to everybody, to add a section where it is focusing on yourself, because it's amazing how easy it is to forget about self-care, and about the things that you enjoy. It's so, always happens that you just get lost into just the day-to-day life. And before you know it, another day, another week, another month has passed you by, and you still haven't done maybe something that you enjoy, or things might start to frustrate you. When I went through this process back in June, there were certain elements of my life that I realized I wasn't happy with. And as I've mentioned on previous videos, it's that I found I was isolating myself, and I'd really kind of embraced that whole stay at home. I wasn't seeing anybody, and it was really impacting my mental health. Not in a depressive kind of way, but more so in a way that was just distancing. And I could tell, like, the way that my mind works, yes, I'm shy, yes, I'm an introvert, but I'm also very sociable. So for me, it was important to kind of recognize that and to look at what I could do to actually improve that situation. So I applied for 2 jobs. I went through the whole recruitment process. I was offered them both. I turned them both down. But it wasn't until I went through those processes that I knew what was actually going to be right for me. And so this is why today's task, it's all about focusing on the here and the now, not the future, but what is actually preventing you from making changes, taking action. What are those stumbling blocks are in your head? It's easy just to kind of get lost into thoughts and not really know what's going on. Catherine said, I think that is where I went wrong, focusing on people with misaligned values. And I think that's so true. If you are a service business owner, it's easy to get lost into just thinking, okay, you're focusing on maybe the money, which is understandable. You have bills to pay. But at the same time, if you're not going to enjoy the work and you're not going to enjoy the people you're working with, that's going to have a negative impact. So take that step back, create your mind map. Do share it in the group. If you don't feel comfortable sharing it in the group, I shared earlier about how you're able to share a post without letting other people see it. Hi B, hi, who else? Alison, I think, popped up. So on StreamYard, you can't actually see, and I think there's like a button that you can press to show who it is, and then I know who the comments are. So at the moment, I'm having to look at my phone to see who's leaving comments. So apologies for that. But yes, just keep your mind map really, really simple. I can't reiterate that enough. Break it down, like I was just saying then, if you don't want to share it publicly, you can share it as an anonymous post, or you can DM me with it, you can email me with it. I can give you some thoughts and some ideas, maybe some other points to consider. But if nothing else, it'll also give me a bit of an idea as to where your head's at, so that when we go through the next part of the tasks later on in the week, then I can kind of think about what you've already had to say. B says she started this, but we'll finish it off this afternoon. Remember, don't overthink it. So B, what I was just saying earlier was that start it off, work on it, have the finished product, but then you can always go back to and add more to it. So I was just saying before that I have added some more things, like, for example, sleeping. I've fallen into the bad habit of going to sleep a little bit too late, like at midnight, and then my little boy is waking me up. Well, now the clocks have gone back, waking me up even earlier, which isn't so great. So I think this morning I was waking up at 5:20. So just over almost 5.5 hours sleep. That's not great, especially when you've got illnesses that make you tired. So, you know, it's always good to kind of just create that initial mind map, reflect on it, sleep on it, post it in the group, and yeah, kind of go from there. Task 2 is going to be focusing on the how you want your life to be in, say, 3 to 6 months' time. Ideally 6 months. How do you want to feel? You know, what would make a difference to you? It's not about looking at how necessarily you get to there just yet. It's going to be literally thinking about, okay, what would you like your life to look at? So that if you were to almost compare like the two mind maps, where would you be from how you are feeling right now? So if you're feeling in a position of, I'm frustrated, I'm stuck in a rut, I've got all these awesome ideas, but actually I don't know how to get to them. So in 6 months' time, how are you going to feel if actually you had a clear strategy, you had a plan of action, you know, and you're actually keeping to it? What would make that difference for you, you know? But we're not going to touch on that yet. We're going to touch on that on Wednesday. So for today, all I want you to do, or tomorrow, is to create your basic mind map of where you're at right now. Post it in the group, email me, DM me, whatever works for you, no pressure. And then I can get a flavour of what you're about. Are there any more questions? I did say this was going to be fairly short. Any questions? Nope. Okay. Well, if anyone does have any questions, feel free to add them into the comments afterwards, and I will go live again on Wednesday. I'm going to attempt to figure out why Zoom wasn't working. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I will see you again soon.